Welcome to today's podcast of Business Talk. These days, it seems to me that everyone is starting or thinking about starting their own business. Just last week, I got hundreds of emails from 20-somethings, most of them living in their parents' basements, asking for advice on how to become the next Mark Zuckerberg. Now, in case you've been living in your parents' basement for too long and don't get out much, Mark Zuckerberg is the guy who started Facebook at the age of 24. He's now an old guy, in his 30s, and his wealth is estimated at more than $30 billion. I've been doing this show for a lot of years, but I have never seen anything like this before. It's really striking. In the past, most middle-class kids would graduate from college, find a job, collect a paycheck, settle down and get married, buy a house, and have some kids, usually in that order. In those days, maybe 10 people a week would contact me to get my advice about starting their own businesses. But nowadays, with a difficult job market, rapid technological change, news all over the media about so-called overnight success of entrepreneurs like Mark Zuckerberg, and television shows like Shark Tank, where people try to sell their ideas to investors with the money to help them start their own businesses, everybody thinks that they are going to become the next Bill Gates. And that brings me to today's podcast. My purpose? It's simple. My inbox is full. I want to stop, or at least slow down, the traffic of email from all of you who think you would make great business owners. So here goes. Warning, this is not a reality TV show. It is just plain reality. Oh, and as always, you can check out our website for some additional information about today's podcast. First, running a business is hard work. Really hard work. 100 hours a week of hard work, at least. 7 days a week of hard work. No kidding. Just ask Robert. Robert is a French chef who owns a cafe serving breakfast and lunch. He also makes food for parties and special events. Every day, he gets up at 2 or 3 a.m. and drives to the restaurant. He usually doesn't get home until 4 p.m., unless he has a large party or special event. On those days, he might not get home until 10 p.m. or later. The next day, he gets up and does it all over again. The only day the shop is closed is on Sundays. But even then, Robert usually spends hours at the shop catching up on paperwork or getting ready for the week to come. In other words, he works constantly. His advice to would-be small business owners? Do not fool yourself. The freedom of being your own boss might sound great, but say goodbye to free time. Second, most business owners never get rich. In fact, about 1/3 of businesses fail within 1 year, and about half fail within 5 years. And even businesses that have done great for years can suddenly fail. Don't believe me? Just ask Gail Horvath. She and her husband started a company in San Francisco called Just Desserts. They made and sold high-quality desserts for 30 years, until a couple of bad business decisions sent the company into bankruptcy. So, do you want to lose your business and all your money? Great. Send me an email, and we can talk about how you can get started. Third, do you want a family life? Do you want to be able to recognize your own children in a crowd? Good luck with that. The fact is that many entrepreneurs end up divorced. The story of Tony, a software and media entrepreneur, is not unusual. Tony admits that he put his wife through 8 years of suffering while he created and tried to sell a television show. With 2 young children and no idea where the next paycheck would come from, Tony's wife gave him a choice: the TV show or her. He chose the TV show. She chose divorce. Do you really want to make that choice? Okay, so if you've listened to all of this and are still interested in starting your own business, great! Now go back and listen again, once a day for 7 days. Got it? 7 days. The same number of days a week you will be working if you start your own business. Oh, and make sure you listen at 4 a.m. Why? That's the time you will either be getting up to start your 20-hour workday or going to bed after you've worked 20 hours straight. If at the end of 7 days you are still interested in starting your own business, congratulations. You just might be the next Mark Zuckerberg. And yes, I'll answer your email. That's it for today's podcast. Tomorrow, I'll be interviewing...